What's good, everyone, and welcome to the channel. If you're new to it, my name's Jake. Super glad to have you here today, and I'm finally getting to post my video of my MTG Finance-ish Throne of Eldraine long-term picks. Now, normally I try to do these like 5 to 6 or so weeks after a set's release. That's typically when, typically when we see that prices of the cards are at their low point, at least while they're standard legal. And the holiday season just kind of jammed that up a little bit, to be honest. But I'm finally getting to do it. It was really important to me to get it out before the Theros Beyond Death release. So here it is in all its glory finally. So without further ado, let's hop into Jake's favorite commons out of the set. So to start out, we have the common land cycle. Now, a couple of these aren't particularly great, but you know, I thought that I like Witch's Cottage and Mystic Sanctuary, and even Idyllic Range. I mean, you know what? I take it back. I kind of, I do kind of like all of them, and they're all super cheap. I'll put the prices right up top here, and then Thrill of Possibility. I mean, Thrill of Possibility is just a strictly better Tormenting Voice, and Tormenting Voice is a very good card. Now, I realize it was just announced that it will be one of the full art promo cards out of Theros Beyond Death's promo packs. But in spite of that, I still think you know, pick these out of your bulk commons. It's a really good card, and I definitely see it as something that you're going to want to play at some point in time down the road. Grab them while they're, you know, while you certainly have them laying around, and it probably doesn't feel great to even pay like even a quarter for them down the road. So just hold on to these, and you can thank me later. All right, let's get to the uncommons. All right, so for uncommons, Drown in the Loch, Deafening Silence, Sir Conrad, and Heraldic Banner. Now, Heraldic Banner is not a great card, I get it. Again, I'll put the prices right up here. But it is super cheap, and in formats like Commander, if you're playing like a token strategy or some sort of go-wide strategy, or even just a creature-based strategy, you pay 3, you name the color that you want, and then creatures of that color get +1/+0. So it has an Anthem effect built in, and then you get to tap it to add mana of that color to your mana pool. So I don't know, it's not a super powerful card, but it is definitely a nice budget casual option for ramp in Commander, which a lot of the ramp cards in Commander are super expensive. So I think this is a really great budget option. So hold on to this one. Sir Conrad, this is actually just a really good card. I think about it in like a Marin deck or some sort of recursion deck or Graveyard Matters deck. Whenever a creature dies, is put into the graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, so like from your library, from your hand, from exile, or wherever, or a creature leaves your graveyard, so if it leaves your graveyard, it goes into exile, leaves your graveyard, goes into command zone, leaves your graveyard, goes into play. So any of those 3 things, Sir Conrad deals 1 damage to each of your opponents. So in like a Marin deck, if you're during your turn, you kill a creature, or a creature dies, each opponent takes a damage. And then at the end of your turn, if you have the experience counters, you bring a creature back from your graveyard, every opponent loses another life. It's a really good effect. I love this card. And then you can also pay a black and a colorless, and each player puts the top card of the library into their graveyard. That's another instance where, so like if all 4 players put a creature into their graveyard, that's 4 damage to everyone. That's pretty good. Deafening Silence, it's a 1 white mana enchantment. Each player can't cast more than 1 non-creature spell each turn. Now this is just, especially, I think it is relevant that it's an enchantment with Theros Beyond Death coming out and enchantments mattering. But what this does is it sets the pace and the tempo of the game to more of where white typically wants to operate. So it's not letting people chain together multiple powerful spells. White's not typically chain together multiple powerful non-creature spells. So being able to cast your big impactful creature, or even your smaller, you know, like a Leonin Arbiter or a Thalia or something, Deafening Silence is great. Again, it just kind of brings that tempo down to more the level that white typically wants to play at. And then Drown in the Loch, a black and a blue, and then the versatility of this card is so good. I mean, seeing play in Standard, seeing play in Modern, it's good in Pioneer. being able to either like use it as a hard counter or a creature removal spell, super good. All right, so let's get to the rares here. I kind of took the easy way out again. I like a lot of the rare land cycle. And again, I will put the prices up here. Oop, and here. So, in particular, out of the rare lands, Castle Garenbrig, Castle Locthwain, and Castle Vantress are some of my favorites. I think the other two can be okay too. I think Ardenvale is probably my personal least favorite out of them. But when I think of like Castle Garenbrig, getting a turn 3 Primeval Titan into play is really tasty to me. And also in Theros Beyond Death, we were spoiled I think it's like 7/6. It's a green creature. Any permanent you tap produces 3 times as much mana as it would otherwise produce. So like Castle Garenbrig all of a sudden produces 18 green mana to be able to play a creature spell. How crazy good is that? So I'm super excited to try that. Chances are as soon as you play that creature, it's going to get killed. But if you do get to untap with it, oh my god, so much fun, right? Locthwain, getting to draw cards. Vantress, being able to scry 2. Chances are where you're putting this is you're keeping mana untapped, and you're using this just before it's your turn, just before you get to untap. So, and the cost for these, the downside is that they enter the battlefield tapped unless you control the color in which they correspond to. So plains, island, swamp, mountain, forest. As long as these aren't your first land drop of the game, I mean, chances are, and I guess as long as your first land drop isn't like Ancient Tomb or something else, chances are these are coming into play untapped. So they're basically just always going to come into play untapped, and then they get the little bonus effect out of it. So I love all these cards. And then for the my non-land picks, Fabro Elder, Mirror Maid, Murderous Rider. I mean, Murderous Rider, we all know what this does. This card kind of speaks for itself. I don't see this card going down in value at any point, really. It's as long as it's being used in standard, it'll kind of hold at least hold at the price it's at. And then if it does drop down, I anticipate it would go right back up because it's just so good. Mirror Maid, this is super cheap, and with Theros coming out and enchantments mattering, I mean, it's just really good. There are a number of really powerful enchantments and artifacts in particular, and we'll get to one of them later on in the video, that for 3 mana, if you just get to copy something that's, cost, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, just the value of that is really good, and then being able to have your own version of it. And Fabro Elder, a white, a green, and a colorless with Vigilance. It comes into play if it's the only other permanent you have beside the mana to cast it. It's a 2/2 because it's white and green, and then you get to tap it for each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of that color. So again, just by itself, it comes into play, it's 2/2, you get to tap it for a green and a colorless. If you have like, I don't know, a Niv-Mizzet in play, you get to tap it for Wooburg. Pretty good. Again, it's super cheap. If you're playing white and green in Commander, like this is basically an auto include. You can already look at the remainder 90 what is it, like 97 cards now because Soul Ring and Signet. But anyway, so these are my rare picks. I love these cards. Grab them while you can. And now for the Mythics: Royal Scions, Great Henge, Brazen Bower. Now 2 of these, Great Henge and Brazen Bower, they're on the pricier side. I totally get it. But they're on the pricier side because they are so good. Great Henge in particular, these 2 cards, Royal Scions and Great Henge, are probably 2 of my personal favorite cards out of the set, just period. I love the Royal Scions that it's a red, a blue, and a colorless. Starts out with 5 starting loyalty. That's high. That's really good. And then it has 2 +1s. +1 draw a card, discard a card, so you get to filter, try to dig for some good stuff. Or you can give a creature +2/+0, first strike, and trample until end of turn. And then the -8 is just, I mean, that's the dream, right? You -8, draw 4 cards. Oh, but that's not all. As if drawing 4 cards isn't enough. You also get to deal damage to any target equal to the number of cards in your hand. So you get to draw 4, and then you're doming something for at least 4 damage, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, who knows. The Great Henge, 2 green, 7 colorless. It costs 9. What are you thinking, Jake? No. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. In a green deck, especially in Commander, you could easily have a 4/4, 5/5, 6/6, some sort of huge creature in play to make this cost, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, even at 5 mana. I think this is a great rate because you tap it at 2 green and 2 life, and whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and as if all of those things were enough, you also get to draw a card. This is insane. I think that every single one of my Commander decks that has green in it wants to play this card. I can't think of a green deck that I have or that I might want to build where I'm not like, yep, Great Henge isn't going to make the cut. No, it's going to make the cut in probably every single one of my EDH decks that has green in it. And then Brazen Borrower. I mean, this is a cross-format all-star. It's seen Standard play, it's in Modern, it's in Pioneer. It's really, really good. You get to, so the instant side of it, you get to return a non-land permanent opponent controls to his owner's hand. It's a great tempo card. And then, after you've done that, or before, you can just flash in a 3/1 flyer. That's, I mean, a 3/1 flyer. This card will close out games. So those are my Mythic picks, and I actually do have an honorable mention that I wanted to spend a little extra time on. And that card is... Okay, pause, wait, hold on. I know, I'm about to talk about Oko, Shirtless Boy Wonder. Jake, it was just banned like 2 days ago. Yeah, I know. Instead of taking this piece out, I thought I would just cut over it a little bit. I wanted to point out, as if it really needs to be pointed out, that Oko is an incredibly powerful card. And I was going to go on about how even though it was banned in this format and that format and the other format, that it was still rocking Modern, and it was such a powerful card that as long as it was legal in Modern, it would retain its value and probably just go up and up and up and up and up. But alas, Monday came, Oko's gone, so falling off of the list altogether now, I bring you Arcane Signet, which was on my original short list. It didn't make it because it's a bit of an awkward card, and I'll get to that in a minute, but it costs 2, it's an artifact, and you tap it and add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Now this is, I mean, it's a common, right? It's a common. And it's around $10, I want to say. The thing with Arcane Signet, if you're not familiar, is it's not available in regular boosters. You could get them out of the collector boosters, which is kind of cool, but really the only other way is through the Brawl pre-constructed decks. And as you probably know, that was a bit of a mess when they were first released. They were really short print run numbers, not very widely available. And then Wizards did another release, and then those were eaten up by the market right away. And so there's just not, I mean, there's not a ton of these out there. Certainly not like a regular Throne common. So if you have Arcane Signet, my suggestion is you definitely hold on to it. And if you see them in someone's trade binder, grab them if they're willing to trade them. You're certainly not going to be upset with yourself holding on to these. I think that any Commander deck that you build in the future, you're happy to slam Arcane Signets into. So before we get out of here, let's do a quick recap and take a look at all of the cards. Okay, so here they are, all of my top picks or long-term holds. This little finance-ish video series that I like to do after shortly after each set's release. Let me know in the comments, what did I miss? There were certainly a number of cards that I wanted. I mean, I always start these videos out and I have a stack of cards that is much larger than this. And I try to pare it down so the video doesn't go on forever. But let me know in the comments, what things are you guys looking forward to holding on to and maybe being relieved and glad that you didn't get rid of so you don't have to pay even more down the road. Let me know. And of course, thank you so much for all of your support. It means the world to me. In 2 days, I will start the Theros Beyond Death booster box openings on pre-release weekend. If you would like to sponsor a video and get a box of Theros Beyond Death opened before release weekend, shoot me an email at summonthepack@gmail.com. I'll hook you up. As long as you're in the States and shipping's not going to be tremendously high, we're looking at about $90. But send me an email. We can work out the details. as long as I get payment before Thursday, we should be good. So you have a day now. I gave everyone a notice last week, but last chance. And then of course after release weekend, anyone can get in on it. But thanks so much for checking out the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this one, chances are you will enjoy my other ones. So make sure you go back and check out. I did one for Modern Horizons, of course, at 2020, War of the Spark, and what else did I do one for? Yeah, those might have been the only ones so far, but hit that bell icon, click subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what I missed, and until the next one, my friends, I will see you later. Take care of yourselves. Have a fantastic day wherever you are. Bye-bye.